If you're a director of communications, you've probably lived this. You spent $40,000 on a video. A year later, it still hasn't moved a single donor. It hasn't changed one person's mind. Nobody shared it past the first week. I think I know what went wrong. It wasn't the footage. Here's what I think most communication directors haven't said out loud. Before anyone started, nobody asked the real questions. What does this story actually need to do? What does our audience believe right now? What has to change for the campaign to work? So you did that work yourself. Again, you figured out the story and you handed the production company a brief and you got back something beautiful that didn't move anyone. The architecture was missing from the start. And once the camera starts to roll, it's too late to find it. Every organization I work with has a story worth telling, usually more than one. That's part of the problem. My favorite part of the job is listening. I listen until I find the through line, the one thing underneath everything else. And when I see it, the job changes. Now I have to protect it, carry it all the way through to the finish line and past it. If I don't, it gets watered down. Everything else, fighting for attention, washes it out. The hardest part isn't finding the story. It's usually deciding what to cut out and leave only what matters most. I'm Jord Christopher. I spent 13 years documenting human stories at a national nonprofit in over 50 countries. Stories that had to move people, not just look good. I built Signal and Succession for one reason. The organizations doing work that actually matters keep losing the fight for attention, and nobody in the production world sits down with them early enough to stop it. I recently made a film for the Cincinnati Nature Center called The Ripple Effect. It's an anthem for an idea that they care about, conservation civics. The audience wasn't stuck because they didn't care. They were stuck because they didn't know how to talk about it. Not to their neighbors, not to their coworkers, not to people who saw things differently than they did. So we built the film around that exact barrier. You don't need every answer. You just have to show up because you care. It worked. Not because the footage was beautiful, but because the story took away the thing that was stopping people. Here's the other thing I do. The C-suite starts adding line items. Everyone wants their priority in the campaign. The story that was clean at the beginning starts to collect passengers. I help you hold the line. We can serve those other goals too, but we just build them in on purpose, together. A message trying to do everything ends up doing nothing, and you already know that. You've watched it happen. I help you pick the right story for the right reason, and then I help you protect it. The work you do matters. So I want to give you something before we ever talk. It's a free story diagnostic. 6 questions you and your team can run this week. It's the same 6 questions I think every organization should answer before the camera ever comes out. No call, no pitch. Run the questions and see what comes up and send them back. I read every response myself and I'll reply with what I noticed. The link is below.